Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today we are going to visit one of the most famous buildings in the world. It stands in the city of Rome. It is old, it is huge, and it is full of history. This building is the Colosseum. The Colosseum was not built only to be beautiful. It was built to show power. It was built to bring people together. And it was built to make the people of Rome remember that their emperor was strong. Our story begins in ancient Rome, almost 2,000 years ago. At that time, Rome was the center of a very large empire. Roman roads went far across Europe. Roman ships sailed across the sea. Roman soldiers stood in many lands. But Rome itself had many problems. In the year 64, a great fire burned through the city. Many houses were destroyed. Many people lost their homes. The fire lasted for several days, and Rome was badly hurt. The emperor at that time was Nero. Nero was not loved by many people. After the fire, he took a large area in the middle of the city. He built a huge palace for himself. It was called the Golden House. This palace had gardens, rooms with rich decorations, and even an artificial lake. For Nero, it was a place of pleasure. But for many Romans, it was a sign of selfish power. They had lost their homes, while the emperor built a dream for himself. Nero died in the year 68. After his death, Rome entered a short time of confusion. Several men tried to become emperor. There was fighting, there was fear, and many people wanted order again. Then a new emperor came to power. His name was Vespasian. He was the first emperor of the Flavian family. Vespasian was a soldier. He was practical. He wanted to show the people that he was different from Nero. So he made a clever decision. He would take the land where Nero's private lake had stood, and he would give it back to the people. He would not build another palace. He would build a great public amphitheater. An amphitheater was a large open building for shows. It had seats all around the center. People could sit high or low, and everyone could look down into the arena. Rome already had amphitheaters, but this one would be much bigger. Work began around the year 72. Thousands of workers came to the building site. Some were skilled builders. Some were stone cutters. Some were engineers. Some were enslaved workers. Many historians believe that prisoners from the war in Judea helped build it. The building was made with stone, concrete, brick, and metal clamps. Roman concrete was very strong. It helped Roman buildings last for a very long time. The builders used arches again and again because arches could carry heavy weight. Slowly, the amphitheater rose from the ground. One level became 2. 2 became 3. Then 4 levels stood above the city. The outside was covered with rows of arches. It looked strong, balanced, and proud. The building had many entrances. This was important. Tens of thousands of people needed to enter and leave safely. Some ancient sources say the Colosseum could hold around 50,000 people. Other estimates are a little higher, but everyone agrees it was enormous. Vespasian did not live to see it finished. He died in the year 79. His son Titus became emperor, and Titus finished the great building. In the year 80, the amphitheater opened. At first, people did not call it the Colosseum. Its official name was the Flavian Amphitheater. It was named after the Flavian family, the family of Vespasian, Titus, and later Domitian. The name Colosseum came later. Near the amphitheater stood a very large statue. It was called the Colossus. It was connected first with Nero, and later changed to honor the sun god. Over time, people began to connect the great building with the great statue, and the name Colosseum stayed. When the Colosseum opened, Titus organized many days of public shows. These shows were meant to impress the people. They showed Rome's money, Rome's control, and Rome's reach across the world. The events inside the arena were very different from entertainment today. They could be harsh, they could be cruel, but to the Romans, they were normal public events. They were part of politics, religion, social life, and imperial power. In the morning, people often watched animal hunts. Animals were brought from distant parts of the empire. There were lions, bears, leopards, and other wild animals. This showed that Rome could reach far lands and bring the world into one arena. Trained hunters entered the arena. They fought animals before the crowd. The scene was dangerous. It was also sad for the animals. Today, we see this very differently. But in ancient Rome, many people cheered. At midday, there could be public punishments. These were meant to warn the people. The Roman state wanted everyone to see the power of the law. We do not need strong details here. It is enough to know that the arena could be a place of fear as well as excitement. In the afternoon, the most famous events often began. These were gladiator fights. Gladiators were trained fighters. Some were enslaved people. Some were prisoners. Some were free men who chose this dangerous life for money or fame. Gladiators trained in special schools. They learned to use swords, shields, nets, and other weapons. Different types of gladiators had different styles. This made the fights more interesting for the crowd. Not every fight ended in death. Some fights stopped when one man was clearly defeated. The crowd could shout for mercy. The emperor or the official in charge could decide what happened next. A brave gladiator could become famous, even if he lost. For Roman people, gladiators were strange heroes. They were admired, but they were not free in the normal way. People knew their names. Children copied them in games. Some people loved them like sports stars, but their lives were very hard. The Colosseum also had a hidden world under the arena floor. This underground area was called the Hypogeum. It was added and improved under Emperor Domitian, the younger son of Vespasian. The Hypogeum had tunnels, rooms, cages, and passages. Workers kept animals there. Gladiators waited there. Props and stage materials were prepared there. From above, the crowd saw sudden surprises. But below, many people worked quickly and carefully. There were also lifts and trap doors. These machines could bring animals or scenery up into the arena. To the audience, it looked almost like magic, but it was engineering. The Romans were very good builders. The Colosseum also had a large awning for shade. It was called the Velarium. It was made of cloth, and it could cover part of the seating area. Sailors helped move it because they understood ropes and large cloths from their work on ships. The seats inside the Colosseum showed Roman society clearly. The emperor had the best place. Important men sat close to the arena. Wealthy citizens sat in better seats than poor people. Women and the poorest people often sat higher up. So the Colosseum was not only a building, it was a picture of Roman life. Everyone could enter, but not everyone was equal. The place where you sat told people who you were. For hundreds of years, the Colosseum remained a center of public life in Rome. Emperors used it to win support. They gave the people free shows, They gave them excitement. They gave them a feeling that Rome was still great. But the Roman world changed. Slowly. The empire became weaker. Money became harder to find. The old games became less common. New ideas also changed society. Christianity became more important in the empire. Gladiator fights ended around the 5th century. Animal hunts continued for some time, but they also became rare. The Colosseum was still standing, but its first life was ending. Then nature began to damage the building. Earthquakes shook Rome, stones fell, fires and weather hurt the structure. The great arena was no longer full of cheering crowds. Grass and small plants began to grow in quiet places. People also took stones from the Colosseum. In the Middle Ages, old Roman buildings were often used like stone mines. Builders removed marble and blocks. Metal clamps were pulled out of the walls. You can still see many holes in the stone today. The Colosseum was used in many different ways. At times, people lived near it or inside parts of it. Workshops appeared there. Religious groups used some spaces. Noble families even treated it like a kind of fortress. For a long time, people did not protect ancient buildings the way we do now. They saw them as useful places or sources of materials. The Colosseum lost a large part of its outer wall, but the main shape survived. Later, the Catholic Church began to protect the Colosseum more seriously. Popes saw it as an important place in Rome. Some people connected it with early Christian suffering. Historians today are careful with this claim. There is not strong proof for every story, but the connection helped protect the building. In the 18th and 19th centuries, people became more interested in ancient history. Artists came to draw the Colosseum. Travelers came to see it. Scholars studied it. The building became a symbol of Rome's long past. Restoration work began. Workers tried to stop more collapse. They supported weak walls. They removed some plants that damaged the stone. They studied how the building had been made. In modern times, the Colosseum became one of the most visited places in the world. People come from many countries to stand near its arches. They walk inside. They look down at the underground passages. They imagine the arena as it was long ago. But when we visit the Colosseum today, we should remember two things at the same time. First, it is a great work of engineering. It shows Roman skill, Roman planning, and Roman strength. Second, it also reminds us that public entertainment can have a dark side. The Romans built something amazing, but many events inside were cruel. History is often like this. It can be impressive and uncomfortable at the same time. That is why the Colosseum is so powerful. It does not tell only one simple story. It tells a story about emperors, builders, workers, animals, fighters, crowds, earthquakes, stones, and memory. It began as a gift to the people of Rome. It became a stage for imperial power. Then it became a ruin. Then it became a treasure. And now, it is a lesson from the ancient world. Almost 2,000 years have passed since the first crowds entered its gates. The Roman Empire is gone. The emperors are gone. The gladiators are gone. But the Colosseum still stands. Its broken walls speak quietly. They say that power can rise and power can fall. They say that stone can last longer than kings. They say that every city keeps memories under its streets. So the next time you see a picture of the Colosseum, do not see only an old building. See the Lake of Nero before it. See Vespasian's plan. See the workers lifting stone. See Titus opening the gates. See the crowd entering through the arches. And then see the quiet ruin after many centuries. with sunlight on its stones, and visitors walking slowly through history. The Colosseum is not alive, but its story is still moving. Thank you for listening, my friends. I hope this story helped you learn English in a calm and interesting way. You did a wonderful job today. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep enjoying English step by step. If you like this story, please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me what real history story you would like to hear next.